Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Stranger Days, and I don't want to keep talking about Patreon, but god damn it, Patreon, you keep making me talk about you, and it's becoming an issue. Over the course of the past couple of weeks, the crowdfunding site known as Patreon took down Carl Benjamin, aka Sargon of Akkad. Took down his account, and it's been a big battle. It's been a big thing, and they keep changing what they're saying as a way to try to justify the actions, as a way to try to justify the deplatforming of the salt and pepper beard Lothario Sargon of Akkad. Going as far first time to say essentially that he was on somebody else's page, somebody else's YouTube channel, somebody else's live stream, and he said some naughty words. And as a result of that, they banned him. They blocked him. They didn't block the person who was on the channel producing the content at the time, who has a Patreon, but they blocked him. Now, for clarification's sake, because that particular person wasn't too happy with me making that comparison in my last video about it, I am not calling for your deplatforming, you insipid worm. I am merely pointing out that Patreon is not consistent. And this was a politically motivated hit. Again, if you have a problem with that, Miss Caitlin, you can stick it where the sun don't shine. Just like your segregated Discord. Anyway, now we've seen them try some other stuff here, saying that Patreon staff changes rules to justify banning free speech YouTuber. A prominent YouTuber has gone from being banned to having a Patreon change the rules and ban him for an entirely different reason. Crowdfunding website Patreon banned Sargon of Akkad, aka Carl Benjamin, from its platform. You have to love it real quick. You have to love the fact that it's all like it banned Sargon of Akkad, who's also known as Carl Benjamin, not the other way around, right? That's how the internet operates now. That's how the world we live in operates. I swear, I go out in public, it's not going to be like, "Hey, you're Matt Jarbo." It's going to be like, "Hey, you're Mundane Matt." I get that all the time. That's just the way we are now. Avatars follow you into real life. I just happen to have a really shitty one. It says here that in his latest Patreon, he was accused of racism and had his ability to raise funds shut down. Patreon booted Benjamin for using offensive slurs on another YouTube channel. While he did use offensive language, Patreon failed to understand he was clearly using the epithets against racists themselves, which is very true. Again, myself and Tim Pool both defend Sargon and what he was attempting to say. We just both do not like the language. After this context was explained to Patreon staff, they came up with a new reason to ban him. This time, they claimed they were also removing him for a previous incident, retroactively claiming he broke the rules for an offense that their predecessors had let slide. What is this offense? What is it? What did Sargon do? How did he offend somebody else? Let's find out. So basically, a new employee has gone back to old incidents and decided to alter Patreon's initial decision, essentially. The old incident was where Benjamin called upon his fan base to occupy 3 rows at a liberal panel. He urged his supporters to attend a discussion by cultural critic / liberal feminist Anita Sarkeesian's panel at VidCon. Now, that is not true at all. That wasn't like he had called upon his fan base. No one put it out to their fan base that they were going to be at this event. I know because I was at the event. I know because I helped organize the event. It was, "Hey guys, oh my God, there's a lot of you here now. Okay, well, this is where we're going to be. We all purchased tickets to go to VidCon. We all purchased tickets to be here, and Anita's going to be speaking, so why don't we go and see her speak, see what she has to say in person, and listen to her ideas," which is the exact same thing we've said now for a year and a half, so this is horseshit. Oh, and just as a side note, it wasn't the first 3 rows. It was the first 3 rows of one half. Every single stage at this event had, like, separated sides and a mic stand in the center that was separated both sides so people could, get around and not crowd one area. So it wasn't the first 3 rows of the whole panel. It was half. It was half. What kind of BS is that? Because here's the thing. In all the videos, you never see the other side. You never see the other side of the microphone, the other side of the aisle. You never see it. So I guess if you don't see it, it just doesn't exist. Never mind the fact that you can watch multiple videos, multiple recordings of everyone sitting there and not saying a word, and then Anita, from her throne of lies, descending onto the crowd, slurs, calling him a garbage person, a garbage human, and a shithead, all because he had the audacity, nay, the irresponsibility to show up to a panel, to an event that he paid to be at. By the way, he got the industry pass. That shit ain't cheap. That was like $700. So he paid to be there, paid the ultra price, and was attending something and listening. But that was just too much for this Patreon employee. Too much. Considering that Anita, by calling him out, made the news. She brought the news, not Sargon. I feel weird that I have to defend Sargon a lot these days in this particular regard, but at the same time, it's like, this is the truth. This is what happened. Now, it goes on to say here that Benjamin and his followers claimed that they had come to debate Sarkeesian over her criticism of the computer gamer community. Wow, a boomer definitely wrote this article. But Sarkeesian condemned the action, whining, "I hate to give you attention because you're a garbage human. These dudes just make endless videos that go after every feminist over and over and over again as part of the issue as to why we have to have these conversations." What she was referring to is Women in Gaming, which was the name of the panel, and it was part of the conversation. But at the same time, when you put an idea out into the world, when you espouse something, when you put out your seed of a thought, people are going to interpret it their own way, and they're going to respond in their own way. And that's what happened. That's always what happens. Whether she likes it or not, and in many cases she don't, but she also never listened to what they had to say. She just blocked them. And that's it. That's always it. She never engaged. She's never engaged. She's never really debated anyone. So people wanted to see her talk because she's always hidden herself away in a tower. And this was an opportunity. Everyone's at the same event. People were there for various reasons, not just to sit there and harass Anita. It was to have conversations among themselves, see friends and everything else. Now, she goes on to say here, in response to the latest Patreon controversy, free speech icons like Dr. Jordan Peterson and the Rubin Report's Dave Rubin have announced they are creating their own crowdfunding platform. Patreon's actions have caused a notable exodus of many users, and many content creators and donors alike have rallied to the cause. This is also what happened when he goes on to talk about Subscribestar, which in fact at this point has been basically just busted. It's no longer really a thing. They say they're going to make it work, but I don't believe they're really going to make it work. So that does unfortunately leave Patreon or direct financing, direct funding as really the only options that people have. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But if they're going to argue that going to VidCon in 2017 and sitting there and not saying a word, but having verbal harassment hurled at you from a paid, or at least not paid, I don't say paid, but a featured guest who was provided travel and hotel, that's completely crazy. That Sargon is the one who has to wield this particular type of punishment. It's BS as always. But we'll see where things go, because here's the thing. There was a lot of other people at that panel. So if that's the whole point. So they're not going to be, consistent. This was a political hit. This was targeted, and that's not right. And that's not fair. So I have to wait and see what happens with it. But in the meantime, once again, Patreon shows that it is headed to a place that is going to ultimately destroy it. It is headed to a place that it's ultimately going to lose out on. And I don't think I'm going to feel bad when that happens, which is a shame because I've been with them for 5 years. I've never had a problem with the company. I've always supported the company. But now in the wake of all this, trying to deplatform a friend over nothing more than words spoken on a non-patron stream, on a non-related channel to him, they have taken away that form of his livelihood. And it's all crap. Anyway, I'll leave it to you. What are your thoughts on this one? Let me know down in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been Stranger Days. If you want to help the channel out, please hit that subscribe, hit that like, and comment below. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.